here is everybody. How was everybody doing out there? Good? Yeah? So far, so good? Great to see that. Ganga, you looks like you got a haircut. Or was that a while back?
It was a while back, but I did get a trim this weekend.
Okay, yeah, I can see the difference. Leanne, we're really looking forward to seeing you.
I'm looking forward
Really
to
great
it
news
too.
that you're giving us. Yay.
Yay.
She's going to come between Course Puja and Shiva Ratri. She's going to really work. Yeah. And it's always so much fun with her. Always fun.
That's the point.
Sunanda, how's life treating you?
Sorry.
Sunanda? How are things
Sorry.
treating you back down there?
Fine. No fires here.
Yeah, no fires here so far. We're very, very, very grateful.
Yes.
I've gotten notices twice in the past week about we're going to turn your electricity off, and then it stays on because we don't have any wind. So thank you, God.
That's good.
Thank you, God. And I haven't heard of any more big outbreaks in Los Angeles. Anyone hear anything more?
No.
Good.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend who lives between Santa Monica and Venice this morning, and she said that the wind was forecasted and there was a debris outside
Thank
her
God.
house.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about 72 miles an hour. It's like, no. Because even in fires that have been hosed down, wet, you can walk over it in your bare feet, you don't feel anything. By the time you get that kind of wind, it'll get those embers going again. So let's just hope and pray that everyone stays safe. It's been too much. Really, so sad. Okay, so we are on Glimpses of a Great Soul, a portrait of Swami Saradananda. And I wasn't here for the last reading, so I'm wondering did we stop at the top of 82, do you believe? Or shall I start reading and you start screaming at me if you've read it all before? You heard it all before? Okay. I got a thumbs up from Ganga. Okay, just scream if it's like, stop. Okay. Nevertheless, sorry. We should not condemn a method due to its misuse and misinterpretation. The true goal of Vamachara is to awaken the supreme energy that in most people lies sleeping in a static, coiled-up condition at the base of the spine. In order to spiritualize all 6 centers of human consciousness, the energy's static state must be transformed into a dynamic state. The 6 centers of consciousness are called Muladhara, Svadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, and Agya. Okay, does this ring a bell, or are we read this all before, Sunanda? Were you okay, Ganga?
We did, but
Hebrew.
it was really good, and I wouldn't mind hearing it again.
Okay, that's where we're going to
Agree.
go. When the coiled-up energy is awakened, it travels from one center to another in the Vamamarga, or left-handed or counterclockwise direction, enlivening each center with tremendous power, which expands the individual's spiritual consciousness until it reaches the center between the 2 eyebrows, the Agya chakra, and the sadhaka goes into samadhi. What happens then? If the sadhaka is earnest, the awakened energy will travel to the highest center of consciousness, the Sahasrara, which is the one on the top of the head, allowing the sadhaka to experience the awakened spiritual power, the Divine Mother, pervading the entire universe within and without every particle of matter. The sadhaka feels Soham, I am she. I am one with the Mother of the universe, and ultimately I am Brahman, thus achieving supreme unity. You know, it's worthwhile mentioning here that everything here that Saradananda writes about was his own personal experience. He never wrote anything about from what he personally did not experience. Heard that from Swami Aseshananda, his bodyguard, secretary, and attendant. Swami Saradananda translated the Devi Shukta of the Rig Veda that tells how Vak, the daughter of the sage Ubrin, reached this state, becoming a knower of Brahman. One of the verses attempts to describe her experience. I spread the heavens over the earth. I'm the energy of Brahman, the mother of all. It is for me that Brahman resides in all the different intellects. It is I who have penetrated all the worlds with my power, and it is I who am holding them in their places. In Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master, Swami Saradananda describes the experience to Totapuri, the teacher of Sri Ramakrishna, when he had tried to cast off his body by consigning it to the Ganges. This is the quote here. Tota almost reached the other bank, but could not find deep enough water to drown himself. When the trees and houses on the other bank gradually began to be visible, like shadows in the deep darkness of night, someone, as it were from within, pulled off the veil covering his intellect, and Tota's mind was dazzled by a bright light, and he saw Mother everywhere. Mother in the land, Mother in the water, Mother as life, Mother as death. Mother as the supreme fourth, the Turiya, devoid of all attributes. That one whom Totapuri had so long been worshipping as Brahman was revealed to his inner eye as none other than the very Mother herself. Brahman and Brahma Shakti are one and the same. Tota realized first the nirguna aspect. And here a quote again. Overwhelmed with the unprecedented joy arising from the bhava experience, arising from bhava samadhi, Tota went slowly to the Duni, the holy fire of the sadhus, under the Panchavati, and spent the rest of the night in meditation and repetition of the name of the Divine Mother, calling her Amba, Amba, Amba. While coming down from samadhi, the Kundalini takes the Dakshinachara, the right-handed way. The sadhaka feels the Kundalini is moving clockwise, encircling the different lotuses and absorbing the letters or powers into its own being, and illuminating them with the spirit of joy and self-fulfillment. Gradually it descends from center to center, coming to rest at last in the basic center called the Muladhara. Thereafter the sadhaka remains ever awake in the bliss of supreme attainment of oneness with Brahman. Swami Saradananda once told Swami Vishweshwarananda that the tantric awakening of the Kundalini is the same as the Vedic mantra, Purnamada Purnamidam, that is, filled with Brahman are the things we see, filled with Brahman are the things we see not, that one. The invisible world is infinite, and the visible world is also infinite. The junior Swami asked, "Would you kindly explain what you mean a little further?" But Swami Saradananda replied, "This is not a matter of discussion. It is a matter of experience. If you plunge into sadhana with determination and divine grace, you will know it for yourself. Nonetheless, we need encouragement from one who has experienced the truth during our rise and fall Nonetheless, we need encouragement from one who has experienced the truth during our rise and fall toward the goal from which there will be no return to samsara, or the world of ignorance." What is the sadhana that an aspirant must practice? It is mantra sadhana, to repeat the name of your chosen ideal of God, Ishta, and to meditate on the Ishta's divine form with deep interest and single-minded devotion. Steadfast, unwavering attachment to God is called Ishtanishta. If you practice the mantra sadhana for a long time, you will become one with your Ishta. And sadhana for a long time, you will become one with your Ishta, and you will realize the true nature of the Shakti of Brahman. If you are fortunate and qualified, ultimately you will experience perfect union with Brahman in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In that state, you will know your true state is not essentially different from Nirguna Brahman, the unconditional absolute. The Pratigama is verily one with Paramatma. The awakening of the Kundalini is intended to bring about that ultimate realization. That is why the Tantras speak highly of the efficacy of worshiping God as Shakti, that's the feminine aspect of God, as a means to attaining the sublime realization. Swami Saradananda says in his book, Worship of God as Mother in India, that India's special contribution to religion is to address God as Mother, as a symbolic expression of truth, that the source of the manifestation of this world is a universal primal energy, which is intelligent and conscious as well as dynamic. The Tantras call this primal energy Shakti, Mother, giving her the name of Kali. She is time and timelessness. She creates and dissolves what was created. On one hand, she gives the boon of protection, and with the other, she dispels all fear from the heart of the devotee. This is her sweet and gentle aspect. But as the dissolver of creation, she also has a terrible or all-annihilating aspect. Artists portray this aspect by showing her with a sword in one hand and a skull of a beheaded person in the other, representing Mother as the possessor of all opposing and contradictory forces in this world of manifestation. A devotee must accept both in order to transcend the duality of Maya and attain Jivan Mukti. A sadhaka practices self-control before worshiping the Mother, with steadfast devotion and unalloyed faith. When the devotee's heart has become pure, he will reach the state of bhava samadhi. Then the image that the devotee worships will not be an external statue made of clay, nor even a subjective idea of the mind, but the image will be a solidified mass of consciousness, a tangible reality, radiant, living, pervading each person and object in the universe. When the sadhaka comes down a little to the lower samadhi that still retains the consciousness of pure I, he sees that the real nature of the vast manifested universe, with its galaxies, suns, stars, moons, worlds, oceans, and mountains, are nothing but Shava and Shiva, the relative and the absolute, change and changelessness, a blessed union of God the personal and God the impersonal, all in one. He sees that each individual and each object in the world is not separate and distinct, but organically connected, living and conscious. Just as the human body with its head, feet, ears, eyes, and other parts is all connected by the principle of life, so all living beings and non-living beings are connected by the Divine Mother, the fountainhead of consciousness, Chinmayi, and not an insentient mass of energy, Mrinmayi, as preached by some scientists. She is indeed the principle of consciousness, living and sentient, behind all the insentient objects of the universe, which science will never be able to discover through its objective methods of investigation. In great wonder and joy, the sadhaka pours his heart's energy, his heart's ecstasy in a hymn such as the dhyana mantram of the Mother Kali. Karala Vadanang Korang. I meditate on Kali, who has 4 hands, disheveled hair, a grim look, and terrifying face. She dwells in the cremation ground of my heart, which has renounced all desires of the world in order to adore the Mother as the one supreme principle of my life and the true essence of the universe. The rishis of India discovered the dual form of the Mother through their experiences of samadhi. Her absolute and relative aspects were revealed to them in exalted states as they discovered the different mantras and various dhyanas, that's various meditations. In this book on mother worship, Swami Saradananda commented, "There is not the slightest doubt in my mind about the authenticity of this truth." It was this positive, invigorating side of Tantrism that Swami Saradananda accepted and made known to the public through his own book on mother worship and his review of Sir John Woodruff's Principle of Tantra, a review that was included in the second edition, a pamphlet that was been excerpted from the Prabhupada Bharata. He gave tantric sannyasa to some lay devotees, as well as monastic members of our order. The ceremony is called Purnabhisheka. It entitles the recipient to perform Rahasva Puja, worship through symbols and rituals, and ritualism pertaining to the deeper truths of the Divine Mother, with the goal of winning her favor. When one of our monks wanted to perform tantric rituals, including the demanding Purusharna, he would invariably approach the Swami for advice. Swami Saradananda pointed out in his lecture on the worship of Shakti. Okay, now we come for a quote. The teachings of the Tantras are never at variance with those of Vedanta. That this worship of Shakti has come down to us from the Vedic period, there can be no doubt. In the Kena Upanishad, we find the Devi, the Divine Mother, bringing the Devas, who were arrogant by the victory over the Suras, to their senses, and finally appearing before Indra in the form of a beautiful woman, Uma Haimavati, to offer him supreme knowledge. In the Chandogya Upanishad, the Rishi Vamadeva advises a form of homa, fire ceremony, for the purification of the household, and many have traced to that origin some of the symbology used in the Tantras. Another great peculiarity of the Tantras is the higher standing which they have raised womanhood. She should be worshipped as a special incarnation of the divine energy, so the Tantrics bow down before every woman and look upon her as a manifestation of Shakti, the mother of creation. Nay, they offer their heart's worship to the hallowed feet of all women and proclaim them to be special incarnations of Shakti, or the Devi herself. None can worship the Devi except by being pure and holy, and by ordering one's life and worship in harmony with the holy will of the Divine Mother. Traditionally, Mother Kali is worshipped at night, because night is the symbol of renunciation. In his special training, every sadhaka passes through the first night, which is called Moharatri, through pleasure and pain, through success and failure, through exaltation and despair, to the night of discrimination. There he wakes from his dream and realizes the experience of everyday life will soon pass away. Vanity of vanity, all this is vanity, quotes the Bible here. This sadhaka becomes acutely aware of death, that everything will be snatched away from him, including his most favorite possession, his own body. He prepares to fight his most relentless enemy, Kalaratri, the night of destruction. Following the instructions of his guru, he worships Mother Kali with rituals and ceremonies, with japa and meditation, chanting solemnly the verse from the Chandi, Shaisha Prasanna Varadam Ridan Bhavati Muktaye. When the Divine Mother is pleased, she comforts and gives the boon of protection and grants freedom to mankind. Pleased by this worship, the Divine Mother grants the sadhaka a boon, liberation. Then the night of worship becomes Maharatri, the night of great enlightenment, absorbing both night and day into one moment of eternity. The Tantras say that this is Samvid, the full knowledge of perfect wisdom in Brahman, which is the true face of the deity, or the nirguna aspect of the Divine Mother. In the language of Kamalakanta, Shakara Akar Nirakara, O Mother, thou hast taken a personal form to receive my worship, but thy true form is formlessness. Swami Saradananda wrote, O Sadhaka, you worship the Divine Mother with the purity of your heart, fixing your gaze on the star of renunciation, and meditate on her effulgent form with steadfast devotion and intense faith. You too, in time, will be blessed by her vision. All your desires will then attain their supreme consummation. Sri Ramakrishna has given you the great assurance that the Mother comes to those who worship her with childlike simplicity and have absolute trust in her, waiting patiently for her grace. May she grant you your heart's desire is my prayer. Mother had richly blessed Swami Saradananda with visions of her during his lifetime. In keeping with the Master's teaching, he never discussed his visions. But after his Mahasamadhi, a senior Swami showed me his diary, for which I am grateful. These entries are written evidence from his own hand of the deep spiritual experiences which are timeless and transcendental, but not irrational, because they do not conflict with reason. Mystic experiences can be achieved only by a strong mind, never by a weak mind. And then we go into this diary. December 12th, 1923, first day of communion. December 4th, 1924, second day of communion. January 7th, 1924, third vision of the Divine Mother. January 23rd, 1924, fifth day of communion. January 24th, the next day, sixth day of communion. January 25th, 1924, seventh day, special communion, repeating of darshan. January 31, 1924, communion pour. February 2nd, communion pour. I believe it's for short duration and therefore poor. February 3rd, 1924, settled non-communion. Swami Saradananda had underlined the word settled with his own hand. Perhaps he did not desire to have darshan for a definite reason. February 8th, 1924, the circle of communion began again. February 9th, the next day, second communion and massage. February 10th, 1924, intense communion, touching center massage. Repeated vision of the Divine Mother continues, which culminated on February 19th. That's 9 days later. February 19th, communion, you in me. Repeated vision of the Divine Mother is not possible until the nerves are strong. I believe the word massage conveys the meaning that the Divine Mother herself touched the soul of Swami Saradananda and awakened the coiled up energy called the Kundalini, stimulating it to rise from center to center until it reached the sixth center, the Agya, that's the one between the eyebrows, and enabled the Swami to reach the Divine Mother. This exalted state of consciousness is called samadhi by the yogis and by the Christian mystics as beatific vision. The nerves must be strong to have spiritual vision because the impact of the vision would shatter unstrengthened nerves, like the passage of a heavy surge of electricity through a flimsy wire. An instance of a terrible impact of a vision on the nervous system is one which has not been properly prepared for by the experience was recorded in the New Testament. When St. Paul had his vision of Christ on the road to Damascus, as the book of Acts notes, blinded by the bright vision, Paul was led by the hand into Damascus, where for 3 days he could not see, neither ate nor drank. He believed that the resurrected Jesus had appeared to him. The vision transformed him from a persecutor of Christ and his followers to an admirer and follower himself. That is what St. Paul says. Be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. During his visions of February 9th and 10th, the Divine Mother renewed Swami Saradananda's mind and nervous system, making his inner being fit to receive that deeper communion that every spiritual aspirant longs for with all his heart and soul. In this age of materialism and scientific agnosticism, true visions and other valid spiritual experiences are rare. Swami Saradananda belongs to that group of valuable persons who tells us God is real because he can be realized. I have realized him, you too can find him if your mind is one-pointed and your longing is deep and intense. Swami Saradananda had initiated a few students while he was in America. He gave brahmacharya vows to Mr. Johnson, a young man Swamiji had sent to him. After returning to India, he gave initiation to a few ardent students. I have heard that Swami Mahimananda, one of our senior monks who became a trustee of Belar Mat, and another Swami, Satchidananda No. 1, who used to call Buddha Baba, Old Father, were his disciples from this period. But while Maharaj lived, Maharaj and Holy Mother were the official gurus who gave initiation to those who wanted to follow the teachings of Sri Krishna. In other words, Swami Brahmananda gave initiation and Holy Mother, and Swami Saradananda stayed in the background. After Swami Brahmananda passed away, Swami Saradananda began giving initiation and vows of brahmacharya and sannyasa to large numbers of people. Some days he would cut short his meditation in order to prepare himself to initiate disciples. Before giving mantras, he always did some simple worship to Sri Krishna, Holy Mother, using flowers, sandal paste, leaves, and grass. He told us, it is not easy to give initiation. You will have to work for your disciples. An illumined guru has to perform special japa for their inner growth and spiritual welfare. The relationship between the guru and disciple is established by God. The real guru has to take the burden of his disciples. He works for them through silent prayer and meditation. He has no rest until all of them have become illumined. reminds me of the beautiful statement of Christ that a good shepherd has no rest until the last sheep has been brought to the fold. I've seen on several occasions that before the Swami would give initiation, he would prepare the mind of the student for the solemn ceremony. The Swami used to say, a good gardener always prepares the ground and makes the soil ready before he plants any seed. Once when an earnest devotee approached him for initiation, Swami Saradananda told him, I'm waiting for the command of our Lord. When I hear him, I will initiate you. You have to wait. If you are impatient, you may go to someone else whom you like. The devotee wouldn't go anywhere. He was adamant he wanted Swami Saradananda and no other for his guru. He was prepared to wait indefinitely. After several months, he got his initiation. Later on, he asked the Swami, did you hear the Lord's message in regard to me? The Swami Saradananda smiled and nodded. By planting the seed, the Swami meant the mantra, the holy word. A good teacher receives the mantra through deep meditation and charges it with power through purity of his life and transmits it to his disciples. Swami Saradananda told his disciples, nothing can sever the spiritual relationship between the guru and his disciple. It is something eternal. But the disciple must listen to the words of the teacher and carry out his instructions. If any impediment arises, the guru comes forward and removes it. Success depends on the sincerity and effort on the part of the disciple. What an amount of labor boys put forth in order to pass an examination. It's like that. If one is earnest, one need not struggle so much. It is a pity that man does not want God from the bottom of his heart. If he really wants him, he will surely find him. Work hard. Repeat the mantra with unwavering devotion. Seed has been sown. Now you must water it with unfailing faith. You may use your beads as a help in concentration. The need for not letting the beads go hungry is for the purpose of getting into the habit and lessening the distraction of the mind while counting them. All this is necessary to create yearning for God. When yearning comes, the vision of God will not be far off. He will reveal himself to you and fill your heart with infinite joy and bliss. Although he had the right to command, he always gave his views in the form of suggestions, advice, encouragement. He was more than a teacher. He was a counselor and a friend. At Bhuvaneshwar Mat, my duty was to draw water from the well and pour it into the kunjo, a porous mud vessel for the Swami's drinking purposes. One day I was carrying the vessel by its slender, elongated neck, and the vessel slipped from my hand, broke, the bottom falling out and spilling the water. It was a real mess. The water soaked the white linen sheet and the mattress on which the Swami was seated, reading his correspondence. I was very much afraid, thinking he would be so angry that he wouldn't allow me to serve him anymore. It would have been a great blow to my heart to be denied that privilege. I prayed to Sri Ramakrishna to forgive me and to intercede in this matter. Seeing my gloomy face, Swami Saradananda said, why are you so sad? This water pot will go on its way alone. It did not have cholera or typhoid. Don't worry, I'm going for a walk. You take the mattress upstairs, put it in the sun on the roof of the porch. The sun is bright and scorching today. Within half an hour, the mattress will be dry. You bring it back to my room, and all will be well. My heart brightened. I followed the Swami's instruction meticulously, and everything was perfect. Even today, his teachings that all compounded things are bound to decay is fresh in my mind. And that is a good place to end this. Swami Aseshananda used to repeat that all the time to us, all compounded matters bound to decay. So that is stuck in our minds as well. Any questions on this? Any questions or suggestions or discussion? It's quite in-depth and quite beautiful. Really very beautiful. The importance of the guru, the importance of the mantra, really such a fantastic read. Well, in that case then, let me give you some. On Saturday, we will have a reading from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. On Sunday, Krishna Prana, God willing, will speak on embracing change. Tuesday, muy importante, Swami Vivekananda's Puja. It will start at, we will have the reading of the Katha Upanishad here in the temple at 7 a.m. Is that correct, Durga? Yep. Then we'll have the puja at 11 a.m., 12:30 homa, followed by prasad. So follow it as much as you possibly can. It's a great, great occasion. It's so inspiring. And when we start the day with the Katha Upanishad, you know the day's going to go well. Such a beautiful thing to. So please join us. Please join us if you can. And please join us Saturday for the gospel reading and Sunday for Krishna Prana's Embracing Change. Okay, so if there's no more discussion, of which there was none, I'll close the chant. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Panamastu. Thank you all for joining. Wonderful to see you all. Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Stay well, stay well. Everybody
Stay well.
pray that the fires don't increase and we get rain. Okay, Jai Ma.